Plenty of injury updates that we're getting from the Indian team. There's too many players who've had to be had to be getting the BCCI medical staffers at work. Latest on that list is somebody we've talked about at the dugout as well in Washington Sundar, and we were just talking about just a few hours back as to who is it who could come in as replacement. The two players who in fact been added to the squad for this particular T20I series against New Zealand, which starts on the 21st. Remember, very interesting names because both of them making a return to the T20 setup after a long time. In case they manage to play a game, it'll be very interesting because. Let's first, in fact, tell you the two names, and I'll tell you after how long they will end up perhaps getting a game for the national side. The first name, and this should be music to the ears of you cricket fans out there, Indian cricket fans out there, is a certain Shreyas Iyer, who led Punjab Kings to the final of the IPL 2025, was also seen as somebody who should have been there as part of your subsequent T20I series as well, including the Asia Cup. But such was the composition of the T20I side at that time that there was no space for a Shreyas Iyer. That's the first name that has been added to the T20I squad for the New Zealand series. The other one, another interesting choice, that in Ravi Bishnoi, is somebody who played a T20 international for India in February of 2025. He had a very disappointing run in the 2025 edition of the IPL. I think just picked about 13 wickets. Economy wasn't his best friend either. And there you see Ravi Bishnoi get roped in as far as this New Zealand T20I series is concerned. However, must I tell you one thing when we talk about Shreyas Iyer? There's one more update that I missed, and that is that he's not there for the entirety of the series. Remember, he's coming in for Tilak Verma, and Tilak Verma is expected to be back at the halfway stage. So Shreyas Iyer is there only for the first three matches of that particular series. After which I expect Tilak Verma to be taking charge and be in the 11. Speaking of the 11, in fact, when you have a Shreyas Iyer in the mix, of course, you're very tempted to have him play in the 11 as well. But is it something that I would necessarily want to do? Perhaps not. I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll tell you why I believe that you should go ahead with an Ishan Kishan instead of a Shreyas Iyer in the 11 to begin the series with, because Shreyas isn't going to be a part of your series, or isn't going to be a part of your squad for the T20 World Cup. However, Ishan Kishan will be. He's, remember, the backup wicketkeeper to Sanju Samson. And if at some point I do require his services, then I better have him prepared. Then I better have him have some sort of game time. And if I'm looking at giving him game time, there is no better opportunity that has fallen in my tracks than this particular one. There's a natural opening. Yes, Ishan Kishan would have perhaps wanted to open, as we saw him do in the SMAT, as we saw him do in the Vijay Hazare as well. So he would have wanted to be right up top, but that's not the opening at the moment. The opening at the moment is at number 4, and that's where you expect. Then I would in fact go ahead and have a Shreyas Iyer play. It'll be interesting to see what is it that the Indian team goes ahead with. But speaking of him, just one more thing that I want to tell you. Last time we saw Shreyas Iyer in the T20 as scheme of things back in 2023. It's been a long time, and yeah, two guys who were at one point were regular features in the T20 side lost their track for varying reasons. I must say, for Shreyas Iyer, the reasons weren't the same as they were for Ravi Bishnoi. So two players who got out of the side for different reasons, now coming back into the mix. How many games is it that the two of them get is something we will have to wait and see. None of them, to me, should be starting. I'll be very happy if Shreyas gets some sort of time. But if I'm just looking at the T20 World Cup, then I'm looking at starting with Ishan Kishan. I'd love to your thoughts in the comment section. But yeah, one more thing before I go. We've talked about the two players who've been added to the squad. And we also tell you about Washington Sundar, the player for whom Ravi Bishnoi has been added to the squad as replacement. As far as he's concerned, he's had a side strain. That is something we told you. The doctors at the COE are in consultation with him. He is now going to be reporting to the BCCI Centre of Excellence. He'll have to go through the rigors over there. He'll have to prove his fitness before he can be added back into the T20 World Cup mix. That's as far as Washington Sundar is concerned. Also, with that, I'll take your leave. Do go ahead, check out some of the other stories we've already put on the Sports Today YouTube channel. We're also there on Facebook, remember. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well. With that, I take your leave. Wish you a very happy weekend. Have a good one and take a good night's sleep as well. Bye bye.